it's me, Haley, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a very late September wrap-up. So in September, I read 4 books, 1 poetry collection, and then I also DNF'd 1 book, which I will talk about. So, yes. The first book I finished in September was I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars, I believe. I've kind of found that I don't really like contemporary, yikes, but I did think this was really cute, and I do think it's a really important book to read as well. Yeah, so the main character, Ben, in this book is non-binary, and they come out to their parents and they are then kicked out of their house, and they end up reuniting kind of with their estranged sister, and then they meet a boy and it's really cute. And it's also like I did cry a little bit reading this book because I did find, especially like in the first half, it was really emotional. But yeah, I really do like it, and the cover is really cute, and I think this book has a really important message to take from it. So the next book I read is The Devouring by Christine Lynn Herman, and I gave this one 3 stars. I ended up listening to it on audiobook, and I really thought I was going to like it, and I felt like I ended up kind of being disappointed by it. But I still did enjoy my time reading it. I just feel like it was very forgettable, and like I don't even really remember what happens. I don't remember any of the main characters' names, so I think that kind of explains the 3-star rating. Like, it was enjoyable but forgettable. So this is kind of described as Stranger Things meets The Raven Boys, which I can totally kind of see that comparison. So this is about a small town in upstate New York, which is called 4 Paths, and there are these 4 founding families that have to protect the town from the devouring gray, which is kind of like the upside down in Stranger Things, and there's like a monster, kind of that sort of stuff. I believe there's a sequel to this coming out, and I probably will read it because I did enjoy it. So yeah. The next thing I read is the poetry collection, and I actually got an ARC of this, and that is Aphrodite Made Me Do It. I can't remember the author off the top of my head, but I'll insert a picture right here. And I don't really know how to describe this poetry collection, because I find that and for a lot of people, that it's really personal, and like I found that like for me as well. Like, I can't really explain why I gave it 5 stars, but I did. I feel like you just have to read it and find out. It took me like an hour to read, so it's really quick to go through, but I do think that it's something that a lot of people can relate to, and I really need to buy a finished copy because I really loved it and I do want to read it again. So the next book I read is Pet Sematary by Stephen King, and I ended up listening to the audiobook for this one as well, and I really liked it. And I really liked the audiobook. I really liked the narrator, and I gave it 4.5 stars. I don't know, I found that there were just like parts in this that I wanted more of, if that kind of makes sense. Like, I found that there were some things that I was still confused. Like, there were things that I was still confused by at the end, and I don't know if I just missed the explanation for it or it was just never really explained. So, I don't know. But I really did enjoy this, and it did make me want to read more from Stephen King. So this story is about a doctor who just gets a new job at a university, like, student health center, and so him and his family move into a new house, and then their neighbor across the street ends up showing them this pet cemetery that's like behind their house, and then stuff proceeds to happen. I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, this is really good, and I think it's a perfect book to read for this time of year. So the book that I ended up DNFing is Neverworld Wake by Marisha Pessl. I got like, I think it was like 47% into this book when I DNF'd it. I started listening to the audiobook, and I literally just found myself not paying attention to anything that was happening, and I literally could not distinguish any of the characters apart. So I really liked the concept that this book was doing, but yeah, it just was not working for me, and I don't think I'll try it again either. This book is about our main character, Beatrice, and her boyfriend ends up mysteriously dying, and people think that it's a suicide, but she doesn't really think that's true. And then a year later, her and her friends from that friend group end up getting together and hanging out, and they get into a car crash, and they're kind of on this like weird space between life and death, which is like the Neverworld Wake, and they have to keep reliving the same day over and over until they pick one person to live. So it kind of reminds me like of the movie like Happy Death Day, I think that's what it's called, where you have to keep like reliving the same day over and over. But yeah, since I DNF'd it, I didn't give it a rating. And then the last book that I finished in September is Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, and I ended up giving this 3 stars. Probably more of like a high 3 stars, because I do remember things that happen in this book versus The Devouring Grey, which is probably more of like a low 3 stars. But yeah, I listened to this on audiobook as well, and I really enjoyed the audiobook. But like, I don't know, I found it to be more about, I felt like for me it focused on the wrong things. Like, I wanted more of the stalking Jack the Ripper mystery kind of thing, but I felt like we got more of the relationship between Audrey Rose and Thomas Cresswell, like, which is fine. It just wasn't what I was expecting, which I feel like, which is why I was kind of let down. I did really enjoy it, and I am definitely continuing on with this series. I actually have the next audiobook on hold for my library, so I'm really excited to get to that. But this book is about our main character, Audrey Rose, and she is kind of working for her uncle, and she like works for her uncle in his laboratory, and so she likes studying dead people, which for the time period is kind of like frowned upon, obviously. And since she ends up meeting Thomas Cresswell, and I think a lot of people know what this series is about. And yeah, but I did think the ending was, like, I didn't necessarily like predict the ending, because I purposely didn't think about it too much, but I did think the ending was kind of predictable, but I still think it was well done. So yeah, those are all the books that I read in September, and I felt like I had a pretty good month considering that for most of the year I have been very slumpy. I haven't been very motivated to read, so this makes me really happy that I pretty much enjoyed everything that I was reading. So I will see you next time.